and I'm not even gonna tell anybody what I
know,
see
it's
there.
so weird.
Yeah.
28 minutes. It's like
28 everything.
yeah.
Are we going?
All right.
All right.
We're rolling?
All right.
Rolling. When you're ready.
All right. Brandon Davis. Danny, how you doing, man?
I'm very good. You?
I'm great. Now I'm talking to you. I think winning an Oscar is pretty cool, but I think winning an award before your movie even comes out might be up there. You saw you won trailer awards already?
Did we?
Yeah. They won Best Voiceover and Best Trailer at the Golden Trailer Awards 28 years later.
Did it?
Yeah. Just,
Oh, I didn't know that.
as time has passed and things have like evolved and devolved in this world of 28 years later, the same thing has kind of happened in the 20 years we've been living through since 28 days later. Is there anything that we are more conscious of or afraid of as people that now as moviegoers you want to kind of take advantage of
Yes.
and play with in this movie?
Yeah, you get the COVID thing is the biggest example. Is that we've kind of how we all behaved during COVID was extraordinary. It just showed how possible it was for us to feel that vulnerability of this virus and what it could do. We don't know what it is and what's it going to do to us, and is it responsible for this? And thankfully, it wasn't as damaging ultimately, although a lot of people lost their lives, sadly. There's a beautiful memorial in London opposite Parliament. It's a People's Memorial. It's not official. People have just drawn these pink hearts on this wall. And the wall now goes the whole length of Parliament. It faces Parliament. It's a COVID memorial wall. It's very beautiful. So yeah, it's lots of things leak into the film. And the original film, although we started shooting it before 9/11, 9/11 did happen while we were filming, and I always associate its impact, the film, with what happened on 9/11 and the impact it had on cities, which seemed so powerful and impregnable and massive and kind of ever expanding, and they suddenly felt fearful or vulnerable, and I think the film was one of the first films that addressed that made you feel that same vulnerability about what might happen in a powerful city like London, and suddenly it's just like abandoned. But then we've seen the same with COVID. We saw the streets in all cities were like that during COVID time, yeah.
Yeah, you guys had like limited time to get Killian on a bridge, and then the bridge was just empty.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary to think about. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what you do with this one, man. And not only 28 days later, not only did you drop like one of the best opening scenes of a movie that I've ever seen, you also dropped this concept of the rage virus, which exploits something that I think you're saying through that movie is already something that's in a lot of these people. Yeah. And we see that come out through the humans who aren't necessarily affected by it in the movie. How is that kind of evolving, and what are you saying with through the rage virus in 28 years later?
It's still a part, it's interesting you say that, it's still a part of everyone in a way. It's still there within us. And obviously one of the things that the virus clearly does, it's a cinematic virus, obviously we hope it never becomes a real virus. It's a cinematic virus, it triggers this moment and maintains it in people's to the exclusion of everything else. So you'll see examples of it in the new film, but it's also because the idea was that they have driven it back from Europe, because at the end of 28 weeks later it appears to arrive in Paris. But the idea of our subsequent films is that the virus has been driven back to the mainland of the UK, to the island of the UK and the United Kingdom, Great Britain. You know, it has many different names, but it's that lump of rock. And really what the authorities have done is gone, you know, and this is the UN or the EU or whoever it is gone, let it burn itself out there. And it hasn't, because nature will find the virus isn't going to burn itself out. It's going to find a way to survive, and it's mutated, and it's mutated in different directions as well. And one way is that because the creatures, the infected, they burn up so much energy in that rage, they're going to exhaust themselves. Like we showed at the end of 28 days later, that they were dying out. They were so thin. And there's a guy in this, which is in the trailer, the thin guy, who just looks like you think he's about to fall over. He's so thin. So one of the mutations has gone the opposite way and has no longer expended that energy and has gone to ground. And he's literally feeding off the ground and lying low and conserving energy. And another way it's mutated is into a kind of like almost like the virus has acted like a steroid and created this alpha. creature as well. So it's mutating in different ways, but it's also mutated behavior because in the original film, they were just random the way they behaved, but they feel more, not intelligent, but they feel more organized in how they survive because they have to learn how to eat. They have to learn how to hunt and eat, for instance, which they appear to do. I hope that's not giving away too much.
I love that you're building the lore and also raising the stakes with this that you're adding too.
Yeah, that's the
amazing.
idea of it, yeah.
I find it incredibly impressive and bold that you filmed this on iPhones. I'm curious that, like, it looks like in this movie, through their evolution of survival, they've gone backwards. They're using bow and arrows, and
yes,
you know, you didn't need a big Alexa camera to make us feel immersed in this world. You gave us the tool that's in all of our pockets right now.
Yeah, so that was certainly one of the ideas. I mean, we used many different cameras for different things. There's different uses of different cameras in it. But the iPhones are very important in it, yeah, for
Talk
sure.
to me about how, because I mean, there's just viral tweets now of people who are admiring these rigs you've built that have that sort of the U shape of the iPhone. Talk about how this tool that's in our pocket was something you use so effectively to immerse us in such a rich world that's also terrifying.
Yeah, it is, and it's incredibly flexible because it's light, so you can take it anywhere. We wanted to take it to quite remote places because there needed to be no sign of human life around for the 28 years, you know, unless you're in a community like we do have a community at the beginning that lives on this place called Holy Island, which is a tidal causeway island. But otherwise, we wanted to go to places where the boy goes to the mainland to learn his first skills at protecting that island, which is to kill infected, to protect against any danger of them attacking. So we wanted to go to places that appear to be pristine. And when you go with a film crew, we leave a heavy footprint, film crews. They just disturb everything. So we thought if we use the lighter cameras, we can use them in interesting, innovative ways, and then we can get there with a light footprint. And so you'll have to see how that evolves in the way it's used in the film. But there are many different cameras used, but the iPhones were a big part of it, yeah.
I think that's what is the reaction to from a studio executive or somebody when because you filmed the first one on the handhelds.
I know, on those little...
Is anybody like, hold on, you're going to use a what now?
Yeah, I know, you do get a bit of that. It's like there is a nervousness, which I completely understand, and anxiety, and you have to push through it because you realise there is an appetite to tell stories in an interesting and different way. You look at the way people are interested in different formats now. You know, in the old days, nobody would be really interested in this, where you're on this 276 format. People are fascinated by it because it gives you this wide screen, and the visual appeal of it is... People are very intelligent moviegoers, and they want to see this wonderful place where they go to watch movies used in an innovative and interesting way. So that's what we've tried to do, yeah.
All right, so I have watched everything I can watch about this movie. I've read the notes. I've tried to do as much homework. I cannot wait to see this movie, but I'm sure there are things that you'd love to talk about that nobody even knows to ask you about because we weren't there for the experience. What is something you wish somebody would ask you about 28 years later that we just don't know to ask you?
Oh, my God. I think the interruption of culture is the most interesting thing about it ultimately. The stop-dead nature of an apocalypse, where you suddenly, boom, and yet children are still born after it. And what they then pick up of memories, other people's memories of what happened before this block point, and how they're distorted, they're romanticised, they're uglified, memories of the past, history, and what we take from, because we're all learning stuff about history and we didn't experience it ourselves, and yet we receive it's passed down to us about this was good and this wasn't good and all these kind of things. You get that in this because you've got this kid and he's like 12, so he was born like 16 years after the infection, after the apocalypse. And what is he, you know, and we talk about digital natives now. He's not even an analog native because there's no electricity. So he doesn't know what a radio is. It's like, well, he knows, he's heard stories about radios, but he doesn't really know what they mean.
Never seen
an
iPad.
Well, there's an interesting scene. There's an interesting scene. You'll have to wait to see it, Brandon.
All right.
Yeah, there's an interesting scene, really, which he plays brilliantly, this kid. Alfie's, but he's really amazing playing this character, Spike, yeah.
As I'm getting ready to see the film, I'm going to end it with this. Happy to have you back for 28 years later. We know Bone Temple's on the horizon as well. Is this something you think can continue on? We can see these characters continue telling stories because there are characters we haven't revisited as well.
Yes, the so we've shot the second film, Bon Temple, directed by Nia DaCosta, and we're trying to raise the money for the third film, which will complete the arc of the whole story. Yep. Every contribution would be welcome.
There's not much on there, but
You'd be shocked if I had a card reader here.
Apple Pay. There you go. Oh man, well, I would love to see more of this. I cannot wait to see this movie itself, Danny. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Great, thanks, Brandon.
All right.
Cheers, now.